Do we really truly have freedom of a choice? Have we already known what the choice should have been or could have been? We didn't come here to make a choice. We've already made a lot of these choices. We just came here to understand why we have made these choices.
When we're making a choice, the feeling is the key. If our highest good is the intention and it's all backed in love, then there aren't any mistakes. How would that feel to know that if we can have this intention and we can go out into life and we can make choices based on, what aligns and what doesn't from the knowing that we have within ourselves? What if we went out into life and knew that there aren't any mistakes?
Uncertainty is, again, just an opportunity to make in clarity within the self.
Uncertainty comes so that we learn to make a choice or a decision. That's why we're uncertain. What a gift uncertainty is, because if it weren't for uncertainty, we would never exercise our ability to look within. Lean in. Invite it in.
Reclaiming the choice as ownership, not as reaction.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
you choosing your values over any outcomes or anything. It's just this is what's important to you, and this is what you're going to go with. The choices are feeling then empowering rather than disempowering.
The universe hears how we feel, not just what we say. Do what feels good. Take a walk. Sit for 2 minutes. Be kind to ourselves and not set these standards of what we have to do to be worthy enough to be blessed with what's already ours.
Beautiful souls, curious minds, welcome back to another Awaken Aware podcast session. In today's session, Tammy and I talk about our awareness of making choices from our current perception and from perception of what really is actually available. In this discussion, we touch upon quite a few quotes from the movie Matrix, which I found very inspiring throughout my life. And I trust that you will receive some inspiration through this podcast yourself as well. So without any further ado, let me welcome Tammy back, and let's see where the conversation takes us. Thank you so much again for joining me again in this adventure, and looking forward to see where this today's episode takes us, unraveling choices and the perceived choice as an illusion, and understanding of, do we really truly have freedom of a choice? Have we already known what the choice should have been or could have been? One of the motivators for today's talk has been seeing the movie Matrix or the trilogy, or at this point quadrilogy, I think, is that there's a lot of talk about choice in this movie. And we hear that really throughout any parts of our life, and we're always facing some sort of decisions we have to make or we get to make. And I feel there is a lot to be said about the difference between what choice feels available and what choice we perceive that we have. Sometimes we feel like we only have this bracket of choices, while that we don't see that there's actually a lot more choices available. And we only see what we perceive that we think where we have a choice about. As we talk about these things also, I want to encourage not only myself and possibly the audience or yourself as well, that whatever happens, listen to your body, how it responds. Listen to where you hold breath. Listen to where you have to take a deeper breath, like what you physiologically connect with, what we talk about, and what you kind of feel like where you have that doesn't feel right to me. What feels familiar, what doesn't feel familiar. Just stay in that state of observing yourself as much as you can anyway. One of the ideas around the choices that was in the Matrix was that we didn't come here to make a choice. We've already made a lot of these choices. We just came here to understand why we have made these choices. Or let's say that I'll put this into my current situation in some sense, that I didn't come here to decide if I'm going to pick this job or another job, or if I'll do this side job or that side job. I already know what I need to do, but there is part of me that doesn't understand it, which is why I'm having a hard time making choice. This is not about trying to be a little bit more strategic about making choices, I feel, for myself. It's more about connecting with a part of me that feels resistant and doesn't have a good understanding, doesn't have a clarity about what I came here to really do. And connecting with a part of me that is thinking, oh, I should do this side job because this brings me more money. So I have more money because my current job doesn't bring me enough, doesn't feel secure. And now I'm doing this from a position of fear versus, you know what? I would love to try something new. And I feel excited about doing this side hustle. And I think that's the right choice for right now. I'm gonna go with it. Versus, should I go do this side hustle thing or should I
Mhm.
not? Is it gonna be a waste of my time? I don't know. I'm sure you people out there may have found yourself at some point in your life in this kind of a situation, or still do even right now. And so I'm curious, Tammy, what you think for like, what would you say to this? Like, where does this root? Like, where does this come from? And do we truly have a knowledge or understanding like deep within that we don't have to feel like we have to make a choice, but rather the choice already being made by the soul itself as we incarnate it, and we're just kind of making these mundane, yes, I'm gonna go left, not right, etc. Where do you stand with this? How does that
Mhm.
feel to you?
Yeah, I love this. Thank you. So the first thing that comes to me is I do as you're saying, I believe yes. There's a the purpose. That's what we come to fulfill. Then the choices that we make are within that purpose, which is to transform life events into love. And so the life purpose is to live with an intention that comes from a desire to be and have more love, and that the choices we make move us towards that, towards the highest versions of ourselves. But in order to do that, that first intention, that's where clarity is first. When we take the time to make that intention first, that yes, I have a desire to live my life in such a way that I'm always moving towards intending to be a higher version of myself. Not perfect, not better than anyone or anything else. Never trying to make choices in order to be better than something, but a better version towards my highest good of me. With that intention, choices become easy because we're always making choices to what feels the same and aligns with that state of loving intention that we have. So, if my overall intention is to live into the highest version of myself, to transform things into love, to look at everything without conditions and let go of judgment and all of these things that we let go of and surrender to and all of that, then if you think about it, if our choices are gauged by, well, what feels good and what doesn't, what feels like conflict and what feels like flow. I know that sounds basic, and I know, we come into difficult decisions, but that's the baseline. When we're making choices, something that I try to be mindful of is like, where am I choosing from? Am I making choices because of me and what my heart feels is the best and moving me towards that highest version of myself? Or are there things that other people have said, well, you should do this and you should get a job doing this and you should go for this kind of career, you should go to this kind of school. All of the very well-meaning suggestions from life and family and teachers and all of that.
Mhm.
We should take that all into consideration, but when we're making a choice, the feeling is the key. We still have to do things we don't wanna necessarily do. Maybe we have to go to a job that we don't really like, but we can still make a choice to go to the job that's gonna pay the bills in that moment and still make choices to explore other things. If our highest good is the intention and it's all backed in love, then there aren't any mistakes. How would that feel to know that if we can have this intention and we can go out into life and we can make choices based on, what aligns and what doesn't from the knowing that we have within ourselves. And like, what if we went out into life and knew that there aren't any mistakes? There aren't any.
That's a new concept for most of us, in a
Yeah.
sense.
Like, what if nothing was a mistake? What if, oh, I went to college and then I got a job, but I just don't like it. And I don't feel aligned. I don't feel, and maybe it's a $500,000 a year job and it, brings in great money and you get all the things, but you just don't feel, is it a mistake to do something that you feel more fulfilled with? Was it a mistake to get the degree? No. But nor is it a mistake to choose yourself if something changes within us. If we were living out from that intention of we're here to be multi versatile, we're multi-dimensional beings for a reason. We're
Mhm.
supposed to try new things and do new things. That's how we're created. And so that mindset of, choose this path and stay on this because, it's this kind of career, you're going to have the best healthcare and the best, all the responsible things. And we make that, but we're unhappy. Well, is that really serving the world? Because our bank account's full, but we're really not happy and we don't feel fulfilled and we're not enjoying our families because we just don't feel happy and we feel weighted down. Like,
Mhm.
it's not black and white, but it's based from deep within.
So what I hear you say is then making choice becomes easy essentially if we're on track with acting from being clear about what we are here to do in life. So if I'm clear about what I'm here to do in life, like I have this long term, this is what I'm going towards, then any choice I make is going to be either towards it or away from it, right? And so in that sense, then it would become easier. What if there's, some of us who are not certain what that long-term goal is? That, mission feels elusive in my life. Like I don't even know what I'm here to do, right? So then I would say that what you're also saying is that then you will likely find yourself in this trap of trying to figure out whether you should make this choice or that choice or that choice. And I feel like if I was to choose any of those choices from this state of being, like I don't know who I am, I don't feel clear, then any of those choices would not necessarily be good for my soul, for my well-being, for well-being
Mhm.
of others, perhaps, who are connected with me as well.
Right.
Is that kind of what you're saying in
Yep.
that sense?
Yeah, I'm not a goal-oriented person in a lot of ways.
Hmm.
I'm not against them. I'm not making even a judgment or encouragement of not to, but it's all about, well, what are we locked into? I mean, how often do we hear from a person that, yeah, all my life I knew that, I was supposed to be a doctor or a lawyer. Like
Hmm.
that's what you do. And everybody in my family, which there's no ill intention, that's great, that your parent, they want you to be successful. That's wonderful. It's beautiful. But if it's not like a soul desire, yeah, you might do it and the bank account might look great and you might have, plaques on the wall and everybody might be happy.
Hmm.
But how are you serving life then? You're
Hmm.
not serving them wholly, fully grounded.
Hmm.
So make goals, but if we're so attached that if we don't meet that, then our life is a mistake, that'll lead to ruin.
Hmm.
And so we can set things and do things, but it all comes down to it's what we all always talk about, meaning grounded, knowing ourselves, knowing who we are, it's that unapologetic, this is who I am, but pliable. So I know there is absolutely no doubt for me, what I'm here to do and that the mission that I'm on and what I do every day, which is many, many different things. I don't do one thing, that every single thing, it doesn't matter. When I know that I'm following and that I'm leading and living from that foundation of love and how I want to serve the world, everything just works, even if there's a problem, even if there's which, I mean, I face problems every day. I have
Mhm.
crisis most days, every day with a client or myself. Like I'm not without that, but that foundation of being self-grounded and unapologetically committed to that, that's the soil that everything kind of falls into, and it's the filter things go through and sifts out. It's most of the details get worked out, and you know what you need to do next. The most important clarity is knowing when we feel aligned with our soul and when we don't. Like, to
Yeah.
me, that clarity is more important than being clear on what kind of job I need to do or
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's what I was basically speaking to a little bit is that how do we know
yeah.
whether I'm on my life path or if I'm off my life path kind of
Mhm.
thing? And I feel that inner compass that we
Mhm.
have, is it taking us where we are, I don't want to say meant to go, but where we are
Mhm.
intending to go, what our life's soul's life path is. And so like how do we know whether we are on that
Yeah.
path?
It can't be any other way. If you're there, you're meant to be there because
I
that's
mean,
the choice that
but
we make.
it's the feeling
We
like you feel it. It's like you feel
Yeah.
that, or I would feel that I'm all of a sudden I would become indecisive. Then that's a sign to me that I'm not aligned,
Yeah. Right.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
There's your answer.
if I feel like, you know what? No, I this is not aligned with the truth of what I came here to do. So I'm not taking that choice. I'm gonna make a different choice, one that I maybe don't yet know what it looks like.
Yeah.
But I'm surely not taking that choice because that doesn't feel aligned with what I'm doing right now, for
Exactly.
instance, right? So it will feel off basically. And so a lot of times I wanted to briefly speak to, there's a lot of courses of all sorts to take and improve your life,
Mhm.
whether it is with like I was saying earlier, with a side hustle, or whether it's with coaching that you could do and learn a lot of money, and you'd be doing the work of your life and you would love doing it. And then it's oftentimes it's sold so hard that they give you a timeline. If you don't decide, in this moment, that deal is off. We will never ever have that deal again, which puts a lot of pressure, I feel, on any soul. And most of us, I think, feel either we give into that and we feel
Mhm.
sometimes pressed into it. And it's like, was it really a
Mhm.
good choice? Did I make the right choice? Then you second guess yourself. And so you're still then in an energy that really isn't congruent with what your soul came here to do. Because if you were in that space of knowing, of understanding what your soul came here to do, you wouldn't even flinch to just close that off and go, that's not it.
Yeah.
Right?
It's scarcity. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like when we're grounded, when our first motive, intention, and decision and choice is every day without, okay, I'm going to tap into this, whatever that means. If that means meditating for a half an hour at 5 a.m., whatever it means for anyone,
Mhm.
okay, or going for a walk, whatever it means, whatever practice it means for somebody, there's no right or wrong one. When that's done, then after that, anything that happens is always on the way to your desire. Like, okay, you're walking. You know where you want to get to. You know what the goal is, where you want to be, and where you want to get to. But along the way, there's some mud and a couple puddles, so your shoes might get dirty. Well, your shoes getting dirty on the way to the pristine place of the goal because your shoes got muddy and some steps were in mud, does that mean that you're not supposed to go there? No.
Mhm. Yeah.
Along the way, we can be aligned and not necessarily like what we're doing. So it's not about, oh, you're saying, Tammy, that I need to be happy all the time? And that's how I know I'm doing the right thing, that I'm
Mhm.
happy all the time? No, I'm happy every day. Not all day, every day. I have moments where I'm not like elated and happy, but I am happy every day. And so the other moments when something happens or I'm overtired or I'm hungry or whatever that I don't feel at the same level of joy, it doesn't mean that everything I'm doing that day is not in an alignment with my life's purpose and my mission.
Hmm.
Some days it means I'm sitting here and I'm writing and working on my book and I'm writing all day long, making content. Some days it means that I'm, managing finances or doctors or different things for clients or dealing with a crisis with them, and some days I'm standing out in the rain. Some days I'm scrubbing a floor for somebody who can't, like, it could mean my days could be full of so many different varieties of acts, but none of that matters. And it doesn't even have any relevance to me being on the path. I know with my intention, I'm locked into that and how I want to live out into the world.
Hmm.
And when I'm grounded in that, it's not relevant how things happen. I might get stuck in traffic and it might take me an hour to get to somewhere that sometimes takes me 30 minutes. Does that mean the day's a wash? Does that mean I wasn't supposed to go there because there was traffic? Like, we can lean too far into the signs too and make ourselves like, oh my gosh, okay, well, wait, a bird flew by, so that means I'm not supposed to go there. Like, we have to be kind to ourselves and just allow. And the answers that we seek, should I do this? Is this the right choice? Am I doing the right thing? If we pause and turn into like, okay, well, how do I feel about this thing I'm doing? And then listen. Does it feel exciting? Does it feel like, wow, I can serve the world on a higher level if I follow through with this? Like, what happens if you follow through with it? What's the outcome? That'll give the answer to if it's something that you want to put your whole alignment and heart into.
Yeah.
We always know the answer already, and it's
Yeah.
always about how we feel.
Yeah. I love that. And as you're speaking with, this came to me again, the part about the choice is an illusion between those who are in power and those who are not in power. And this was a quote in the Matrix, and I was thinking about that. And then again, is that the choice is an illusion because we already know what we have to do. So then it's not really a choice because it just becomes
Yeah.
the thing to
Mhm.
do
Right.
versus a
Yeah.
choice, which is why I
Mhm.
feel like they talk about this, the choice is an illusion. And then sometimes, like I was saying, it feels like is illusion between those with power and those without power, because as to my earlier point, some people will be promoting something to you again that they're giving you choice, they're giving you choice about in this moment
Mhm.
because they are in power to give that choice to you,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
are in less of a power to feel like you have to accept the choice,
Mhm. Yeah.
right? Yeah. So in that sense, it's still an illusion that you're choosing. You're not choosing at that point because A, if you already know what you're here to do, then you may take what they're offering as not as a choice, but you may take it as this is something that's going to contribute to my learning about what I want to be doing, and I'm going to go with it. Or
Mhm.
it's not aligned with something that I want to be doing in my life, and so I'm not going with it.
Yeah.
And that became the choice that wasn't really a choice. It was just clarifying in the mind what I should be doing right now, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
In that sense. And so if I put another example for myself, for instance, right now I have this, I stepped into the side hustle for trading.
Mhm.
Today I have to decide, am I gonna go with this and invest more money into it? Or am I going to call it, okay, I've tried this. This is not exactly where I want to put my energy, and I'm going to focus on something else. And so
Mhm.
sometimes we come to these crossroads, and I mean, I've felt uncertain for days
Yeah.
as to like, should I continue with this and should I not continue with this? And as we were saying earlier in our conversation before the podcast started, is that uncertainty is again just a bridge or the opportunity to making clarity within the self. So
Mhm.
becoming clearer because of this experience that's happening right now, I can start feeling clear about, yes, maybe this is one of the ways that I can earn extra income, whatever. Or, you know what? No, it's not worth of the hassle. And it's kind of taken me away from the commitments I have already, plus the commitments that I love already that I have. And it's taken me away from it. So then it's not congruent with what I'm doing. So then the choice becomes
Mhm.
obvious, becomes the way to go, like I said, for instance.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would also my default and what I do with everything is
Mhm.
is like just talking about uncertainty, lean in,
Mhm.
invite it in to have a cup of tea. Like
What does that look like for you?
that
Like
would be
if you're inviting in uncertainty,
yeah.
do you have
I
an example?
yeah, I talk to it just like I do with pain. So anything that I have a desire or a call to figure out or something needs to be done within me about my
Hmm.
understanding,
Hmm.
I bring it in and ask it. I either journal. Another thing that's always really helpful to me, especially stuff that's really deep, is mirror work. Sit
Hmm.
in front of the mirror. Okay, I see you. What are you here to show me? Uncertainty comes so that we learn to make a choice or a decision.
Hmm.
That's why we're uncertain.
Hmm.
And so, what a gift. Like, what a gift uncertainty is, because if it weren't for uncertainty, we would never exercise our ability to look within. Because it's not, okay, uncertainty, come and show me what, somebody out there says or thinks about what I should do. That's where the shift happens, right?
Yeah.
When we make that and we sit down and I say invite it in, that means it's one-on-one. It's me and me. That's it. Nobody else gets to come in. I'll have other conversations with people, and about things that you're figuring out. We talk to friends, we talk to coaches, of course, but this part is just for us. And so if we just say, okay, well, I'm not really sure, but I'm willing. Like if we go to uncertainty and say, I'm willing to hear everything you have to say. I care enough because it's the relationship with self we're talking about. So if it were a loved one and there was, you know, tension or something that needed, something needed to happen, hopefully we would sit down with them and say, I'm just not sure what to do here. We're at this place and we both have our own point, but we're both scared, we're uncertain. Tell me your side. Like tell me what you think of this. Let's talk about how we both feel about it and it'll come about. And so you're doing the same thing with uncertainty. You're asking it, what are you here to show me? Thank you for coming. And that's the other thing, gratitude and thank you.
Hmm. Hmm.
Thank you, uncertainty, for coming into my, my awareness
Hmm.
so that I learn more about myself. And at the end of it, it might guide us. This has happened for me to something totally different,
Hmm.
like a different job, a different whatever the thing was. Like,
A
oh,
third choice.
yeah, like contemplation. It
Like,
opens up more.
hmm, like something we didn't see before.
No. When we approach it this way and when it's love and we have this openness and willingness, it's not like a traumatic event that now there's something else that we need to consider or worry about. Like it isn't. It's an opening. And that thing, that new thing that comes in, the new idea or adventure, whatever it is, that one will be the one. Like that's what it was moving us towards,
Hmm.
is something totally different.
Hmm.
So when we sit with it, we'll either get the pathway to fulfill what we already thought was on board and we'll be able to choose the pathway, or a new pathway will come and we'll be sure, oh my gosh, wow, I never even thought of that. This is so much better.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So,
love what you're saying. I love all you're saying. First thing, when we're saying being grateful for, like when you make
mhm,
time for yourself and you stand in front of the mirror and you're saying to yourself, "Thank you for taking the time and being with me with uncertainty, meaning with me." Okay. And what came to me was like when I go talk with someone about something, let's say that I have a something that I want to run by someone. And
mhm,
I, call my friend or text my friend, whatever,
mhm,
and then hey, say, hey, would you make time for me? I would appreciate your advice or just, run something by you. And so they're, of course, yeah, 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 absolutely. And so now you're on the phone with them and you go, you know, I really feel grateful for you to make space for me. So I
mhm,
feel that gratitude for you to be here with me in this moment to help me process this whatever
mhm,
is going on, right? And so the
mhm,
same way you're saying, same way you would feel same gratitude towards yourself in the mirror, saying you just stopped and felt that uncertainty within you. Now you're
mhm,
pointing the awareness towards yourself,
mhm.
and thus the gratitude is now flowing inwards. So, which then brings out, like you said, probably even ideas that you never thought you could have, like the third option kind of thing, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So that's what I was like, yeah, of course, the gratitude for just like making time for me.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And so then the path opens, like you
yeah.
were saying.
Sometimes, and it's for me, it's many, many, many times it's happened where the uncertainty came only just to get me to stop and slow down and spend some time with myself. There was nothing for me to do. I was on the right path, everything was fine, there was nothing for me to do or change.
I just wanna
Uncertainty just came to slow me down.
I just want to say I was encouraging everybody to just feel into their body when you're hearing something, and I just like goosebumps all over my body from when you said that. That
Yeah,
uncertainty and just being with it and just came to slow you down and it came to pause you.
yeah. Same,
Yeah.
very same concept as without me being able to really, point to anything, just feeling, like, off, or I could say it feels sad or anxious or something, like, not enough to really do anything, just off.
Hmm.
So, I have a choice.
Hmm.
I could say, "Oh, no, today's gonna be hard. Oh, if
Yeah.
I'm waking up like this, oh, I can only imagine what today's gonna bring." If I'm opening my eyes in the morning and feeling dread or feeling low, like,
Yeah.
gosh, and I could shame myself and judge myself. "What's the matter with you? You have a nice warm house, and look at you waking up, and you're not just waking up full of gratitude and bouncing around like Tigger and, living it like what right?" Same thing with that is I'll look at it like, "Okay, alright, I'm gonna sit still. I'm gonna sit still, and I'm just gonna listen. Is there anything I need to know?" And I'll just say that, like, "Is there anything I need to know? I'm gonna pause, I'm gonna sit, I'm gonna move a little slower, take some time," because it happened to get me to slow down. Maybe it's just to take time. Who knows? Maybe I'm coming down with a cold. Maybe whatever. Maybe I just needed to slow down.
Hmm.
Or maybe I needed to take time to center because that day is gonna bring me something, good, bad,
Hmm.
or indifferent, that I'm really gonna need all my attention for.
Mm.
Everything is here for us.
Right. The connection to clarity in my being is going to allow me to make any decision at any time, however it needs to be made, and then not even
Yeah.
like worry about it. Go ahead.
Yeah. You're touching the point it's far out, and it's a far reach for a person that's, like, right smack in the middle of making a big decision. This is a little too much and over the top, so take it with a grain of salt, anybody that's in that position. But there are no decisions necessarily to be made. The decision or choice is to be love, to choose to do all that is necessary to have the intention to be in the flow of highest good, highest version of self, love, following that course. If we know that, then the literal decisions, they're not as big as we think they are when we don't have clarity. When we have uncertainty, we don't know the answer and we're afraid there might not even be one. And maybe we're afraid we're going to make the wrong choice.
Mm-hmm.
With those ingredients, there's no success at the end of that equation. 2 plus 2 is 12. Like it doesn't match. It doesn't come out right. And when there are decisions to be made, we will naturally, organically make them without any strife. Even the hard ones, the big ones that affect our families, our lives, maybe health. I mean, we could apply this anywhere. For me, I can speak from experience, surgeries. It took convincing for me to have the extent of brain surgery that I had. There was a lot of things that could potentially go wrong. That list was a lot bigger
Mm-hmm.
than the good outcome that might come. Like the best hope was that I'd, walk upright. And so going into it, there was a space that a decision needed to be made. Like, well, what if I'm different? What if I'm not that scenario?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a decision of like, what is positive thinking and what is denial? So I would encourage if someone is facing, health decisions or making a decision like that for a surgery for something that, has the potential and has risk. And that could be with a job, with money, whatever, anything with a high risk. It's got to come into the space of what you believe of ourselves. I would say to somebody, well, what do you believe of yourself? What do you believe of your capacity? Because somebody that doesn't feel worthy of being well or worthy of success, going in with those feelings of unworthiness, with the best doctors or best financial advisors, if we don't have that belief, the likelihood of us ending up on the highest version of that scenario, of that decision, that gets lower. Again, it all comes back to the belief in self, that groundedness. For me, it just came down to that. It wasn't denial. There was no falsehood in it. But I believed that I could come through it and that I was going to be a different scenario than what the surgeon said it would be. I listened to them. I didn't go against them. I wasn't defiant. But without that belief, if I had lived, I would be the other scenario. I believe that. I believe that it was my will because I chose that.
Yeah, I like what you're saying. It's like that was equating to another quote in Matrix that was at the end of the third movie is like, why are you persisting on standing back up? And the Neo says, because I choose to. And he owns his decision
Mhm.
to persist in love, kind of thing. Like he chooses to stand up for what he believes, kind of thing.
Yes.
And so, what you're saying again to me, what I'm hearing here is that reclaiming the choice as ownership, not as reaction,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
you choosing your values over any like outcomes or anything. It's just
Yeah.
like this is what's important to you, and this is what you're going to go
Yeah.
with, which of
Mhm.
course then keeps you in integrity and in congruence
Mhm.
with the higher self's choice about your life, which again just helps you then claim your own sovereignty for
Mhm.
your life, and the choices are feeling then empowering rather than
Yeah.
disempowering.
Right. Yeah, because that
Beautiful.
that that baseline of that foundational structure of self that's unwavering. And for me, I was prepared also to follow through and live with any outcome.
Yeah.
You know, I was making a decision that had the potential that could leave me needing full-time round the clock care that my decision could affected other people, because if it went that way and I needed care, well then that's going to, that affects other people. I have a young daughter. So the decisions I was making, they were for me. I didn't make them on behalf of anyone, but of course they're considered. It's all unapologetically about me, because if I'm not focused on making decisions that advance me towards my highest self, the highest version of me, physically, mentally, spiritually, in every way, that is upholding my responsibility to my daughter. to my family. And I also was unwaveringly grounded in that if I didn't live, or if I was not living a full life and needed care, then I trusted also my family, my daughter will be okay. She has other family. She has her dad. She has grandparents. She has cousins and friends and family. I'm not it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm focused on my highest good, but I am not blindly thinking that I'm the only source of love for my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like stepping back and being really humble, but then also I'm just unwavering in what it is that I need to do to live to the highest version of myself for me. But that came from the contrast of, not feeling worthy in the past. So again, gratitude, because had I never been in that position, then I wouldn't have been presented with this, these circumstances. And so it's all for us, and it's not selfish. It's like it just pointed solely at, the what the highest version of ourselves is. And we define that,
Mm-hmm.
not according to anybody else,
Mm-hmm.
not according to statistics, not according to, how much money we make, like nothing
Right.
matters except the heart that we are with. And that if that feels good, then we're aligned and doing the right thing.
Yeah. And that's like such important piece. And back to like what we were saying earlier about the inner compass is that when you're connected to that, there's going to be a lot of teachers, there's going to be a lot of coaches, there's going to be a lot of therapists and friends and whoever wants to give you some sort of advice. There's going to be a lot of
Mhm.
that in life.
Yeah.
And all of those are pointing us to the door for us to pick,
Mhm.
whichever door it is that we desire. But whatever, we
Yeah.
always take what we feel we want from, let's say you have an hour of conversation, let's say an hour lecture or something, you will always just pick something
Mhm.
that works for your soul, that feels important to you, and you will just skip over all the other stuff because it
Yeah.
doesn't feel important to you in the moment
Yeah.
for your soul's growth. Okay.
Mhm.
Or it could be too much. In this way, then we are guided point by point by point by point by point by point. We're
Mhm.
making these zigs and zags through life in order to get to a place that our soul wants us to go and experience things in, certain things in life. Again,
Mhm.
all done for us. So let's say negative experience may be something that we will be resistant towards. But then there may be positive experience that we'll be wanting to attach ourselves to, and those are again not necessarily something that is going to work well for us either scenario. So it's not about good or bad. It's not about right or wrong. It's more about what feels like this is the path for you. Because like I was saying, that all these teachers, mentors, coaches, podcasts we're watching, all this stuff is out there for us to show us something, take us to some sort of alignment, show
Mm.
us a certain door, but we're the ones that are going to have to like walk through the door. Like the coaches can take us only so far. The
Mm.
podcast videos that we watch oftentimes that can only take us so far. We are essentially the ones that have to make that don't have to get to make that choice for
Mhm.
ourselves to where we're gonna go. And
Yeah.
so again, in that sense that the door is in front of me right now, all the
Mhm.
time, all the time.
Yeah.
And the only thing that keeps me outside of that door is fear
Yeah. Mhm.
and my inability to connect with that lovingness, lovefulness, and
Yeah.
eternal love. If I'm connecting with it, then there is courage to actually
Mm.
own whatever it is that I'm processing in my life that I feel unclear about, so I can step through the door, that make that
Mhm.
choice, so to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. It's just, if we just take a moment and consider that there's nothing wrong that I could do. There's no mistakes that I could make here. This is all just for me to look. It's just for me to open the book and read and see what the story is about.
Mm.
and just feel it along the way. And trust ourselves enough and give ourselves a little credit that maybe we are quite capable. Maybe we really do know the sound of our own voice. So, like, it's just that permission to just be and allow things to come in, permission to trust ourselves enough to say, okay, I'm good, I'm safe. Like, the house is not on fire, everything's okay. Nobody's in pain, nobody's hurt. It's okay. All right, let me just take a look here. What is this?
Mhm.
And if we approach things just with an open mind and assuming, what if we walked out into life with a constant full assumption that something really fabulous was happening on our behalf? Can't see it, we don't know it, but like I do that.
Mhm.
I don't attach like outcomes or scenarios. It's not even, I'm not talking about even really manifesting or declaring or affirming anything. I mean, just a basic, like, what if some really fantastic things happen today? That's all. What if? And then you go about your day. Because whatever we put out there,
Mhm.
saying that,
Mhm.
that's telling the universe what you're looking for.
Yeah, back again to frequency precedes form. So, like,
Yeah.
whatever I'm vibrating with my thoughts, with my feelings, my emotions, that's what's happening in reality. And so,
Yeah.
if I wake up with a feeling of, I don't have enough money to be able to pay next month rent, whatever,
Hmm.
then I'm putting out that vibration. And so, universe is going to mirror that and show me that, oh, yeah, that did you remember that you have also this expense and that expense too? And you also have to pay for taxes and you also have to do this and that. And now you're like, holy shit. Now you're freaking out, right? But again, it's just like pointing your awareness, like you were just saying. So if I point my awareness to the things that I'm dreading or I feel I'm afraid of, then that's what I'm giving power to, energy to, and that's what grows. Versus what is my job every morning if I wake up and I feel maybe I had a dream, maybe a past night's event, something
Hmm.
happened, changed in my view, and I'm waking up with into a new day, worried, how am I going to survive today, kind of thing. What is
Hmm.
my job in that morning? Reframe. And reframing would look like something what you were just saying, is that remembering that I am love, I am health, I
Hmm.
am abundance, and how today is going to show me that all this is the case
Hmm.
and let myself be surprised by it. And
Yeah.
that alone shifts the perspective and shifts your energy, your vibration. And so then the universe follows, reflects the
Yeah.
frequency vibration. So the job is to change the frequency of vibration, whether, like I said, whether you do it with reframing, whether you do it with mirror
Mhm.
work, whether you do it with meditation, whether you do whatever. Take that time and become clear about where your intention is going to be.
What we focus on comes forward.
Yeah.
Hmm. So, and listen, yeah, we're adults, and all of the stuff, all the bills we need to pay, the jobs we need to go, like all of the responsibilities that we have, they're all there. We don't need to talk about them and remember that they're there. We know they're there. We know that, the 15th comes every month, and on that day, rent is due. And, on the 10th, the car payment's due, whatever. Like, we don't need to think about it in order for the responsibility to be met. We're still going to do it. So, my point is, we don't need to talk about it because the more we talk about it, silently or not, inside, the universe hears how we feel, not just
Mhm.
what we say.
Yeah.
And so, if all that, like, yeah, okay, There's going to come, you're going to sit down and write out the check for the rent. And okay, your focus needs to be there then while you're sitting there and writing out the check. Yep, focus needs to be there. Okay. After that, go focus on everything else.
Hmm.
And then while we do that, especially when we're in any kind of low vibration and finding out anything, is the gratitude when we do it. Like, thank you. When we pay a bill, paid, thank you. I
Hmm.
write it on the bill. I write paid, thank you with an exclamation point.
Hmm.
Because when we show gratitude to money coming out, then
Hmm.
that's gratitude towards money. So more money is going to come back in. It's reciprocal. It's the focus. Focus on what feels good, and that the gratitude list, of course, that we all talk about, but keep it basic. I'm a advocate for simplicity. You don't need five more programs to do and practices to do. Like, we don't need more things on our to-do list. And it can be really easy to be, oh, well, this person that's successful, they spend 2 hours every morning journaling and meditating. Okay, well, gosh, I'm going to have to get up at 2 a.m. and I'm going to have to, because, if something feels rigid, don't do it.
Hmm.
Feeling rigid about doing something isn't going to make it productive. Now
Hmm.
you've just spent time feeling rigid about meditating.
Hmm.
Then meditation is not going to serve you the way
Hmm.
it would serve you if you went into it, if you were peaceful about it. Do what feels good. Take a walk, sit for 2 minutes. Like, be kind to ourselves and not set these standards of, you know, what we have to do to be worthy enough to be blessed with what's already ours.
Yeah. I like everything you're saying in this way
Mhm.
again is like I wanted to say one other thing about we've touched on habits before and I just heard this quote from Daryl Anka, aka Bashar, but he was speaking as himself at the time when I heard this quote and he was talking about the a habit is something you don't know you're doing,
Mhm.
but as soon as you know what you're doing, it becomes a choice. And you don't make choices that you don't believe give you a benefit. So choosing our why wisely. So being with that, understanding, like we were saying earlier, what is my why? Why am I here? Why am I doing that? What I'm doing, right? So
Mhm.
knowing, being clear about things. And
Yeah.
when I hear this, is what comes to me in a sense is that awareness of the how the habits transform into responsibility, really, because you're going from doing something habitually because you had some sort of you were brought up this way, this way, this way, this way. Parents told you to do this, not do that. Teachers told you to do this, not do that. So you have certain precepts in your subconscious mind, and if we're behaving on a basis of those all of our life, we're
Mhm.
habitually going through our life, and then anything that doesn't fit that box, we're going to try to reject, which is very normal
Mhm.
behavior. But I feel like when you have the understanding of why you're here, all that stuff like gets wiped in that
Mhm.
sense. And it's not even then about like what is my habit? Yeah, I can create a different habit. I can have a positive habits. It becomes more than about just a habit. It becomes about when you're clear about where you're going in your life, like what your soul is really asking for you to experience.
Mhm.
What feels congruent with you, which experiences are feeling congruent, which experiences don't feel congruent. Then it's not even a choice and it doesn't even touch the habit piece because you just know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's a huge difference between
Mhm.
A, knowing the
Yeah.
path. It's like you
Mhm.
have understanding, that's a great thing. That's a step further than just habitual behaviors.
Mhm.
And then also walking the path. And this is where most of us, I feel, stumble is because there we have even knowing, we have all sorts of understanding, and possibly even, a lot of experience from having lived, let's say, decades in this lifetime
Mhm.
and other lifetimes, whatever we remember from that. But actually applying everything that we're aware of or not aware of, right? But actually
Mhm.
applying these things that we have learned, these wisdoms that we have gathered throughout life, actually applying them into life, that's a whole nother scenario. And I feel like this is where the outcomes really are generated, or there's results in our life. Like this is what our
Mhm.
reality is made of in that sense. Claiming
Mhm.
responsibility for, you know what, this is my reality right now. And let's say I'm not healthy, or I feel like I'm not healthy, let's say I feel like I'm not wealthy either. And so the reality is reflecting what's inside.
Mhm.
The reality is reflecting all my past beliefs, all my past habits, all my past subconscious beliefs. And in order to change any of that, it's not enough for me to know that that's what's happening. I need to be able to claim responsibility that I have created it.
Mhm.
And then from that point on, start choosing things that are aligned with where I'm headed.
Mhm.
I hope
Yeah,
that makes sense.
beautifully said. Absolutely, so beautifully said. Because, yeah, in the familiarity with what alignment is for us, that's the starting point. That's that first commitment. That and that's what awareness brings us to. It's all of it has to start with awareness, and then we come into acceptance of what we're awareness, but our awareness, that's where all the answers are. Then it's that commitment, because we every awareness, like dumping the puzzle out, and we flip all the pieces over first, because we have to be aware of the pieces to know where to put them.
Mhm.
So we have to be able to see the colors and shape of it, so then we can let me do the border and then inside, but we can't put the puzzle together without awareness. We can love the picture on the box. We can want to put the puzzle together with everything that we are. But if we don't open the box, flip them over, and come into awareness, we're not going to put the puzzle together. And
Right.
so we can suffer all of our lives as, oh, all I wanted to do was do the puzzle. Well, we never took the steps of awareness. So
Yeah.
the block is always us of not moving into that awareness. But that awareness is in that acceptance, that unconditional love, that we come into awareness and appreciation of all of it, that it's here for us. All that process, that teaches us alignment. So if someone says to me, well, what do you mean? I don't really know what alignment is for me. I don't know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to feel good doing something or whatever, but I don't really that full alignment in all areas of life. Well, it gets uncovered in the awareness. And hopefully, if we choose solitude, surrender, and to be with ourselves with all the awareness, that's where alignment is. That's where we find it.
Yeah.
And then we embody it.
Yeah.
So then we are the alignment. And so then that's where to my point earlier, that decisions are just kind of made,
Mhm.
because we don't have to put a lot of thought into it when we know what alignment looks like.
Mhm.
The only time we really have to like work and struggle and try to figure something out and bring other people in is
Mhm.
when we're unsure of what alignment is. What's a yes? What's a no? What do I really want? That sort of, we say, loss of identity or loss of
Mhm.
self. We don't lose it. It's just underneath there. We just haven't uncovered it. We just haven't looked into all the awareness yet. But
Yeah.
it's a one-on-one job. It's time with self.
Yeah. And what's coming to me as you're speaking is that when we end up sometimes in a situation, let's say that throughout my life, I have grown up in an environment where it wasn't necessarily encouraged to own your life, to own your choices, to
Mm-hmm.
your decisions,
Mm-hmm.
and to basically it was encouraged more on the contrary, it was encouraged to blame society for what's happening, blame the people for how we are living,
Mm-hmm.
and point fingers and doubt that it will ever get any better. And so, if you have grown up with this kind of setup for, let's say, few decades, once you start working with some, let's say you start meditating, let's say you start doing mirror work, let's say you start doing breath work and connecting with your body, maybe you start yoga practice or Tai Chi or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and you can be guaranteed that all those decades of being in a frequency, a low frequency and vibration of doubt and pointing fingers and blaming and judging, that's going to feel unfamiliar to have these newfound exercises or practices that are
Mm-hmm.
to help you with getting where your soul wants to go.
Yeah.
And I feel it becomes about not resisting that flip-flopping that you sometimes go like, that doesn't quite feel right. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I'm contradicting myself. I feel incongruent with what I'm saying with these new transitional practices versus what is true in my life. Yes, of course it's true in your life because decades and decades of practicing of this lower energy vibrations have shown you that. But that is really just result of your previous frequency. So as you're changing frequency, it is very natural that the system itself, body, the mind, the emotions, it will come back to, hey, this doesn't feel right. This is not true. Just
Yeah.
because it doesn't feel right, it doesn't mean that it isn't. It doesn't
Right.
feel familiar. I would change the wording here. It doesn't feel familiar
Mm-hmm.
because you haven't experienced that before,
Right.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
being in lower vibrations and now all of a sudden going to higher vibrations, you're like, that doesn't feel familiar. Of
Yeah.
course not. Well, because
Right.
it isn't. It's different.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Yeah.
how we change. If we stay in those lower vibrations, nothing ever changes, then that's how our life is going to continue to be. And so, which is why sometimes, like when we step out of our comfort zone into these new practices, it feels unfamiliar, yes. And it is very important that we sustain that high energy for as long as possible. And when the
Mhm.
questioning comes in, again, just sitting with, like you're saying, sitting with it, and then say something like, okay, well, since this is for me, I'm
Mhm.
curious to see where this is going to take me.
Mm.
Open the door,
Mhm.
please. Thank you. I'm ready to walk through.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the piece, like, if that piece of coming into that trust that what comes to us is for us, that takes us out of the scenario that the knock at the door is an intruder. If we think that anything unfamiliar is a threat, then that's going to block us
Hmm.
from being able to move freely into learning about stuff because it's frightening. Fear stops us. Are we giving ourselves enough credit? It's time to trust ourselves. It's time to look in the mirror and say, you know what, I believe in you. Like, no matter what, I believe in you because nobody else can give us that belief. We can have groups of people that love and adore us and say, no, oh, you're, and then and list everything that all of our qualities and all of that
Hmm.
doesn't mean anything unless we believe it. And when you do that, it's even the hard stuff that comes. There's another path made for that, for even the hard stuff. Yeah, we still got to do it. Yes, there's still going to be hard things, but it's a whole different scenario to face difficult things knowing that there's a guarantee of a blessing in it
Hmm.
than to think this might be the thing that takes me out. Like this might be the thing that puts me over the edge or
Yeah.
ruins me or whatever the fear tells us. And we can be in this flow and still be responsible, hardworking go-getters. It's not about, you know, choosing a life that, yeah, we just sit around and, just hope that something comes by that that's easy, or if something's not easy, being like, oh yeah, see, I told you that was bullshit. Like, no. it, it's it's all here and it's okay. We need to give ourselves credit, I think.
Hmm.
Like, believe in ourselves. We need to
Yeah.
say it to ourselves. I believe in you. I believe that you can take this and see the best in it. Like,
Hmm.
make that the game. Like,
Hmm.
if our first reaction to anything coming that's unusual, if our first reaction is, "Oh, I wonder what blessing's in here," the outcome's gonna be totally different. You still might have a hard path to walk, but
Hmm.
the outcome's gonna be totally different than like, "Oh my god, I don't know what this is. I
Hmm.
wasn't expecting this. I'm sure it's something bad. Something bad always comes in this package. Oh my god." Like that. If we cut that out and just say, "I wonder what blessing's in here for me," we'd
Yeah.
go towards it a lot with a whole different attitude.
Yeah, it's like you're opening curiosity. So yeah, I
Ye
love that. There's a lot to be said. I feel like, but I would just encourage again any one of you out there, myself included,
Mhm,
that when you facing a choice, sit with that choice. Let's say that you have five choices to make. Let's say that there's a timeline on them. Let's say one of them needs to be made by the end of the day. Another one has to be made by the end of the week, et
mhm,
cetera, or in 5 minutes or something. Close your eyes. If it's decision has to be made within seconds or minutes, close your eyes and then feel your
mm,
breath. Feel your breath for a few seconds, asking yourself, what is this bringing me to? Or where is this bringing me? I'm
mhm.
curious, like implying some way of curiosity.
What gift is this offering me?
What gift is this offering me? I love that. Yeah,
Mhm,
exactly. So just closing the eyes, sitting down for a moment, just asking that question and sitting with that question, breathing, focusing on your breath, and feel that question in your mind, in your
mhm.
heart, in your whole being. Let's see what
Love it.
shows up.
Yeah. Look at it, the situation, and say, there are so many wrapped gifts here. Which one should I open first? And then just see what comes.
Yeah. Like sometimes it's so hard to believe that something that feels difficult would be here
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
This is where your work is. This is
Yeah.
where the work is. This is really it's hidden under those heavy burdens, difficult
Mhm,
conversations. That's where it lies. You understanding that you are making your life path.
mhm.
You're
Yeah.
walking it. You're making it. You're walking it. It's your doing. It's nobody else's choices. Sure, you may get influenced by somebody else, but nobody else is making that choice for you. You are the
Yeah.
one. You are the
Influence
one.
comes, but you're making the choice.
Yes, you're
Mhm.
the one. Stay accountable for you.
Mm, yeah.
Anyways, so thank you everybody for paying attention. Thank you so much, Tammy, for being here
Mhm.
again with me
Yeah.
and going through all these ideas and thoughts and channeling such beautiful wisdom. I really, really appreciate your presence. And I look
Thank you.
forward to seeing you again next time. And until
Yes.
then, take good care.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us again for this episode, and we will look forward to seeing you in the next one. And if you enjoyed this session, please hit subscribe, hit the like button, and or the bell, and we will look forward to seeing you again next time. Until then, take very good care of you and stay awake and aware.